They laughed when I was broke, ignored me when I begged for help. Now that I've built a life without them, they're banging on my door like I owe them the world, but I'm done being their personal ATM. This time, I chose me. Thanksgiving was supposed to be peaceful. I had plans. Quiet ones, just me, my dog, and a marathon of mindless TV while I reheated something vaguely edible from the grocery store deli. After the year I'd had, silence was sacred. Solitude was my reward. So when I opened my door that Thursday morning and saw my parents standing there, flanked by my sister Rachel and her signature smug expression, my stomach dropped like a lead weight. "What the hell?" I muttered, half to myself. Rachel's voice cut through the cold November air. "Happy Thanksgiving, Danny," she sang like we were the goddamn Brady Bunch. My mother's smile was tight, eyes scanning behind me like she was already judging the decker. "We figured we'd surprise you." My father, ever the stoic statue with barely concealed irritation, just nodded once. "Can we come in?" It wasn't a question, but I didn't move. My grip on the doorframe tightened. "You could have called," I said flatly. Rachel rolled her eyes. "Would you have answered?" "Fair. I wouldn't have." Still, I stepped aside. Old habits die hard, and part of me, some stubborn, aching sliver, was still hoping they'd changed. They hadn't. 15 minutes in, my living room had become a courtroom. The charges? Abandoning my family. The verdict? Apparently already decided. "You really turned off the utilities at the house?" my father growled. I shrugged. "I stopped paying for them." "That's not the same thing." "You know your mother and I are struggling," he snapped. "Struggling." That word again. They used it like a weapon, like a shield. "You mean like I did when you kicked me out at 18? I shot back. "When you told me to figure it out or sleep in my car? Or when I was working 2 jobs just to afford instant noodles and you wouldn't even answer my calls?" Rachel groaned, dramatically flopping onto my couch. "Oh my God, we get it. You struggled. Boo-hoo. Can we skip to the part where you fix everything?" That did it. I turned to her, stunned. "Fix everything?" She waved her hand like I was being overdramatic. "Just turn everything back on. Jesus, it's not that hard." I stared at her. Then at my parents. None of them looked remorseful. None of them even looked surprised. They weren't here to apologize. They weren't here to reconnect. They were here because, for the first time, they needed me. And they couldn't stand it. I took a deep breath, steadying the fire in my chest. Then I said the word that changed everything. "No." My dad's jaw clenched. My mom's face fell. Rachel just scoffed like I'd told a bad joke. Dad stepped forward, towering like he used to when I was a kid. "Daniel, I am not going to ask you again." "And I'm not going to say it again," I interrupted, my voice low and calm. "I'm done. If you want money, earn it. If you want the house paid for, get a job. I'm not your personal bank." Mom's face twisted with disbelief and rage. "We raised you." I laughed, coldly, bitterly. "You kicked me out. You ignored me. You let me sink while you sat on the porch sipping beer and telling your friends how lazy I was. You didn't raise me. You got rid of me." I stepped closer, voice barely above a whisper. "I don't owe you a damn thing." And for once, they didn't have a comeback. I opened the front door wide. "Get out." Dad's nostrils flared, his fists clenched. For a second, I thought he'd hit me. But he didn't. He just stormed out, muttering under his breath. Rachel followed, muttering, "Drama queen." Mom lingered. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, some last jab, some emotional grenade, but I just stared at her. She sighed, turned, and left. I shut the door, locked it, then leaned back against it, my chest heaving. For the first time in my life, I felt free. The silence that followed was strange. At first, no texts, no calls, no guilt trips or vague threats, just silence. It felt like a detox. My nervous system didn't know what to do without the constant stress. For the first time in years, I wasn't being drained, manipulated, or emotionally extorted, but it didn't last. 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, I got a call from my aunt, Linda, my mom's older sister. Now, Aunt Linda wasn't exactly a monster, but she had a way of making excuses for everyone's bad behavior. "That's just how they are," she'd always say, like that somehow erased the damage. So when I saw her name on my phone, I knew what was coming. "Daniel," she sighed dramatically, "you need to fix this." I didn't even pretend to play dumb. "Fix what?" "Your mother is beside herself. Your father's a wreck. They don't know how they're going to survive. Do you really think this is okay? Treating your parents like this?" I clenched my jaw. Linda, they used me for years, and when I finally said no, they humiliated me in front of the whole family. Now I'm the bad guy? They're your parents, she said like it was gospel. Family is family. That line. I'd heard it too many times. Where was family when I was sleeping in my car, Linda? Where was that loyalty when I was begging for help? Silence. She hadn't expected that. They're struggling, she said finally, and you're doing well now. You have the ability to help them. Yes, I said calmly. I do, and I choose not to. Her voice sharpened. You're being cruel. No, I'm being honest for once, she sighed, shifting tactics. You don't have to give them money, but talk to them, be the bigger person. I laughed, a dry, hollow sound. Why is it always me who has to be the bigger person? Why does no one ever hold them accountable? You're going to regret this, she snapped. No, I won't. And I hung up. That was the first sign they weren't done with me. The second came 2 days later. I woke up to 47 missed calls and a flood of texts from my parents, Rachel, and a few relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. They ranged from guilt-tripping to threats. Daniel, please, we need to talk. You've made your point. Now be a man and take responsibility for your family. Wow, so you're really going to let Mom and Dad suffer just to prove a point? You're disgusting. Family is everything. Make this right. We gave you life. We raised you, and this is how you repay us? We're about to lose everything, and it's your fault. That last one made my blood boil. My fault. They had no savings, no jobs, no backup plan, and somehow it was my fault? No, not this time. I didn't respond. The next week, the doorbell rang. I checked the camera. It was them. They rang again and again. Then came the pounding. Daniel, Dad roared. Open the door. Mom's voice followed, all sugary venom. Honey, please, we just want to talk. I sat on the couch, staring at the door. You can't ignore us forever, Dad shouted. Yes, I can, I whispered. They stayed for an hour. I didn't move. That night, Mom sent a final text. You will regret this one day. You'll need us, and we won't be there. I hope you're happy. I blocked their numbers. It's been 3 months. Since then, I've heard whispers from family members. My parents sold the house. My dad had to get a job again for the first time in over a decade. My mom tried to start an online boutique. It flopped. Rachel's been raging to anyone who'll listen about what a selfish, ungrateful monster I am. And me? I'm okay. Better than okay. No more being drained. No more walking on eggshells. No more playing the scapegoat in a family that only called when they needed something. I don't feel guilty, because for the first time in my life, I chose myself. And I'm finally free.